This is Saturday Morning Mysteries.
And we're your hosts, Alexis and Grace.
Hello, good morning, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Morning Mysteries, where we're your hosts. I'm Grace.
And I'm Alexis.
And we are into our new arc, officially our second episode of Moville Mysteries. If you've never heard of this show, go back to last week, listen to that recap. We do a lot of introduction to this horror-based children's show.
Yes. With my episode today, I think we can fairly call this horror. So
okay,
yeah, mystery horror.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Paranormal. So we're doing more of a spooky arc, kind of how like Courage the Cowardly Dog was mainly spooky ooky type of stuff. And this week it's Alexis' turn to tell us her first Moville Mysteries episode. So take it away.
I'm excited, yes, because I was watching this show and I really liked it. And I was like, why? Just for my first episode, why would I only tell one story when I can tell three?
What?
So in fact,
it's supposed to be a 6-hour episode.
Yeah, get comfortable. I told you, this is why I had to make fresh coffee before we started recording, because we're going to be here for a while. No, it's actually surprisingly one of my shorter scripts. But somehow this episode of Moville Mysteries manages to tell 3 different stories in one episode. Okay. One of them is our big main story that we'll be focusing on, but our narrator, the main character, Moville, what's his real first name? His last name is Mosley. That's right. I was like, is it Momo? Is that technically
Moo?
Can we call him Momo? I kind of want to now. Okay,
our boy Momo?
Yeah, what's up, Momo?
I'm just picturing Momo from Avatar, but like a horror movie setting.
Oh, no. Ooh, you had me in the first half. I liked it at first, and then, weird twist. So, yes, he's more so our narrator in this episode. And we've got one big story that's the main plot, but then he also kind of tells 2 little side, like urban legends, if you will. Ooh. So I was like, oh, fuck it. I want to tell all 3 of these stories, but we'll obviously start with our big mamma jamma, the main story.
Okay.
The one that today's episode is based on, or I guess is the bulk of, it is from season 1, episode 2 of Moville Mysteries, and it is called The Telltale Recliner.
Okay.
I saw the title and I said, say less.
Done.
I know which episode I will do, not only because it is the second episode and I often do the second episode after you do the first, but because, yes, it is a classic reference to the Edgar Allan Poe short story, The Telltale Heart. And in my mind, I was like, well, if this episode is anything like that short story, then we're about to talk about some fucked up shit here. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So for those who don't know, I guess just like extra super quick spark notes. It's a short story where this guy, a lot of Edgar Allan Poe stories are like by unnamed narrators or whatever. So this unnamed narrator,
Mosley.
He says Mosley, in this case, he says he's totally sane, but the dude definitely has like very severe anxiety and other perhaps psycho whatever issues going on. And he lives with this old guy in this old house. And this old guy has this creepy blue eye that like stares you down evilly. And it like disturbs this guy, this narrator, so much that he's like, oh my God, I need to kill this guy because his eye is so evil. And otherwise, though, I like this dude, but his eye is scaring me, so I got to kill him. But he never has a chance to kill this guy. And eventually he is able to kill him. And instead of like running or fleeing and like reporting to the police or anything, he just like dismembers the guy's body, buries it under the floorboards in this house, and acts like everything's okay. But exactly. But over time, he hears what he thinks is a heartbeat coming from underneath these floorboards. What he thinks is from the old man that he's just killed. The neighbors happen to also hear the screaming in the night when he killed this old guy. So they call the police. The police come to their house. It's a whole thing. But the dude's like, no, I assure you, he's not dead. He's fine. He's on business. Me, I'm fine. I'm alive. We're good. He invites the police in. He even sits them in the room where he buried this old dead man, right? Or like, under the floorboards, and the police are just like, all right, cool, everything seems fine here. But the dude just loses it. He thinks he hears his heartbeat growing louder and louder and thinks the police are onto him. And then he like rips up the floorboard and says, never mind, here's the dead body. I've gone insane. Here, take me in. And that's the end of the story. Edgar Allan
So it's
Poe,
children's
regularly
show.
fucked up dude. Yes.
Yes. Famously fucked up dude.
Famously fucked up dude. Love his work. Don't love the man, but love his work. And yeah, so that is what the writers of this children's show decided to base today's episode on. So buckle in, friends. It won't be
Yeah, I'm
6
worried.
hours of that, but you said it's a horror show, Grace, and I was like, yeah, it's a horror show.
Yeah, I like
So
just very briefly, I realized in
Yeah.
then watching like, you know, my episodes and that kind of stuff, I was like, oh, the first episode was just like was so tame. Like the first episode I did was
Yeah.
cute.
It was
Like,
normal.
Yeah,
all
it was
things
just like,
considered.
oh, ooky spooky, cute. Come on in, parents. This show is safe for your children. And then
Mhm.
the rest of them, I was like,
Children, are your parents gone now?
exactly. They were like, your parents left now, right? Now we can get to the real Moville mysteries.
Here's this episode based on an Edgar Allan Poe horror short story.
Make sure your parents are gone
Yeah.
because you're about to get traumatized.
Yes, you are. I mean, I can say as a kid, this would have probably messed me up, even this episode, even, watching horror movies and like, yeah, liking creepy stories like Edgar Allan Poe shit and all that. So, yes, let's jump into this. And again, like I said, Mo is just our narrator in this. We'll bring up our trio of main characters every now and again, but we're going to tell this story from a different perspective. So it begins with us meeting a young freshman, a classmate of Mo, Mimi, and Hitch's at Lone Pie High School, a boy by the name of Milo Krasinski. Milo, he is by all accounts a mostly normal appearing, yet to hit puberty, I guess, yeah, prepubescent boy who, for the sake of this show, I guess is normal in that he only has light gray skin and like a charcoal gray hair. Honestly, actually very similar looking to Mo, but less stocky, I would say, and maybe like a slightly longer face. And this kid, he has a very, a mostly soft demeanor. He looks from the outside like he would be your nice, typical young boy. But when he talks and engages with people, he's notably overconfident and a little pretentious sometimes, and maybe even a bit smug. And so there is one other noticeable defect in this outwardly otherwise nice young boy. At least to Mo, Mimi, and Hitch, they notice this defect if no one else in their class does. And it is that he is dangerously allergic to telling the truth. And this, I think, is a quote from Mo. Yeah, Mo is like, this kid is allergic to the truth. So Milo, yeah, we find out pretty early on after seeing this kid that he is a serial liar. For example, like the most brazen of liars, the most insane of lies that this kid is telling. Like no one in their right mind would typically believe this, but for whatever reason, most people do, besides, again, Mo, Mimi, and Hitch, and like one other person we'll talk about later in the story. So some examples of the lies that he just casually is telling his classmates as he's walking through the halls at Lone Pie High School is that he has an alligator wrestling cousin whose arm he, Milo, once had to sew back on.
Oh.
And he, yeah.
Is he just
so
from
not
Florida?
Only does his cousin, yeah, right.
This one's like, believable honestly, if he's from Florida.
Probably a lot of people can't do that. You're right. In Florida and like maybe Louisiana, wherever.
Yeah,
like
we're starting off soft.
Yeah, true. I think the more unbelievable part is that he can sew it back on.
Yeah,
like,
that part
probably you cannot do.
Yeah.
So another lie he tells is that he sprained his arm while saving a little kid in a stroller from getting run over by a bulldozer. Or actually, it was triplets, not one little kid. Or no, sorry, it was quintuplets. And it wasn't just on the street. It was on a burning bridge. Like every time he tells the story, it changes a little bit.
The ante gets upped.
Exactly. Like
Okay.
everyone's like, oh, it could be more impressive if you said this. I think it's Mo tells him like, well, why not just say quintuplets? Like you might as well go all the way up
And
with
he's
that
like, it
ante.
was.
No, at first it's funny. He's like, please, no one would ever believe that. Do you know how rare quintuplets are? And then later he tells his teacher, like, it was a bunch of quintuplets that I saved on a burning bridge. But he says it so that he can also get out of gym class. So,
How does that get you out
say
of
what
gym
you got to
class?
say.
Oh, because
Yeah,
he sprained his
because he
arm.
sprained it. Exactly. Because he sprained his arm. So he can't do anything. And he tells this to the principal, to the gym teacher, all these
Okay.
people. They're all sucking it up like, oh my God, Mo, you're such a, or Milo,
Hero.
you're such a hero. I feel like I keep saying Mo instead of Milo.
It's
That might
very, yeah.
be
They're a little too
confusing.
close.
Oh, I know. We'll just again say Momo now.
Momo.
We're not calling him Mo anymore. So
Momo.
Momo, one last example of just a ridiculous lie that Milo has told is that as an excuse for not finishing his math homework, he tells his teacher that he had to suddenly rush an emergency shipment of medicine to an Alaskan village, this remote Alaskan village,
Uh-huh.
by dog sled. And he tells a story so detailed, but like how, he met this tribal member and they gave him this tribal name, which means like hero among all of us or something like
Oh
that. And
God.
he had to climb this mountain, et cetera, et cetera. The story is so long and detailed that by the time he finishes it, it literally is the end of the class period. So it's like a good 45-minute
You know
telling.
what? He is a hero to other students. They didn't have to take class that day.
Honestly, yeah, I would. This is a
This is why they
like this is
encourage
kind of a
him.
win-win. Yeah, like if
Yeah.
you were sitting in the back of class because Milo's up front, and if you were in the back and you didn't do your homework, like this is great because the teacher hasn't made it back there yet. She's still just standing in front of Milo listening, like, great story, Milo. Great, great. Anyways, well, class is over.
So I guess
So
turn your homework tomorrow, everyone. You
yeah,
run out of there. Thanks,
literally,
Ma.
teacher buys it. She either buys it or she just doesn't care. Like either
Yeah,
way, honestly, she probably doesn't care. She's like, I really don't give a fuck. Look,
that's fine
tomorrow,
too.
kids, tomorrow bring in a project or what does she say? Like a presentation for a cultural awareness thing that we're doing. It's this new lesson plan they're doing.
Ah,
There are
great.
so many things I can say about this with the current political climate, but we're just gonna keep it.
Oh no.
It's like this was in 2002 and they're already studying cultural stuff. Like people today are soft, okay? They don't even want their kindergartners learning about that shit. Anyways, so yeah, anyway, this kid, he is actually the worst, I guess, unless you're one of those students that did not do your homework.
Uh-huh.
Like lies about everything for no reason, is very overconfident and cocky about it. Milo, or not Milo, good God, Momo,
Momo.
Mimi. Oh my God, this is gonna be so
Oh
hard. Momo,
no.
Mimi, and Hitch.
This is
Jesus.
gonna be too
Well,
much. We're
all
gonna
right, I might call
Mosley.
Milo by Krasinski instead, his
Okay,
last
yeah, yeah,
name,
yeah.
because even though that's a long ass last name, it's easier and less
Yeah. Actually,
confusing.
Milo, Momo, Mimi, the three
Yeah,
of
and
that
me,
is
it's
not
it's too much.
too
Hitch
much.
is the outlier here. So yeah, those three, they hate him though. They hate Milo.
Mm.
They're like, God, he gets away with everything. It's so annoying. And then meanwhile, as they're whispering about him lying to the teacher's face, the teacher hears them whispering and is like, you guys stay back for detention. You're in trouble. It's like,
We
ooh,
did our
damn.
homework though.
Sucks to suck. Yeah, I know, right? So we see Milo. Good God, Milo. I was gonna say
Krasinski.
Mimo.
Milo.
Krasinski, thank you. We see Krasinski walking home, and he's, just casually, or he like looks back up as he leaves the school and sees
Mosley.
Momo, me, and Hitch in like the window of this
The
classroom, and he
trio.
just kind of like point the trio. Thank you. We'll say that he sees the trio in the window through the classroom or through the window in the classroom, like points at them and laughs, like amateurs. You guys can't
Mm.
lie to save your lives or whatever. And so then we see him walking home. And, like I said, he's otherwise a normal boy. He lives with his two parents in the suburbs. They have a relatively nice house. And we see his father outside struggling to take the trash out and like scratching his head, wondering where the hell is my son. I was going to say Krasinski, but his dad is also Krasinski. So this doesn't work in that one instance.
Oh
He's like,
no.
where's my son? He's supposed to be the one taking out this trash. I need to find him. So he's like calling for him, yelling Milo all over the place, through the yard, through the house. And we see Milo out in the backyard, kind of like hiding behind the shed, playing video games, like on a little Game Boy or something. And he hears his dad call him. And he's like, oh shit, throws his game to the side, runs out front. And his dad's like, Milo, this is your job to be taking out the trash. Where were you? And again, with the lying, he
Where was
tells
he?
his father he was, in fact, climbing up a tree to save his neighbor's cat from a rabid wallaby that must have escaped from the zoo or something. And the cat is very afraid of heights, so he wanted to help out. And
What an animal to
finally,
choose, the wallaby.
oh, a wallaby of all things, like not a raccoon,
Right.
not even like just a massive squirrel or like a bird. No, a wallaby.
This is how
And
we know that
yes,
kid didn't do his homework. There's
he
not going
did
to be a
not. He didn't
wallaby.
do his math homework
Rabid
or like his geography or
zoology.
whatever. Yes, his ninth
You
grade
had that right.
zoology class.
Our
Yes,
zoology class as freshman.
we had
Perfect.
those. Yes. So Milo's dad, his name is Carl, by the way, Carl Krasinski. Look, he's like us. He knows Milo is full of shit. And he literally says this, Grace. He says, you are so full of, and then we hear beeping from a truck that's backing into their driveway.
This show.
It's so perfect.
Your
And this
kids are
truck
your
is
parents are gone now, right?
your
Perfect.
parents are gone now,
Let's
right?
teach you some
You're
stuff,
full of
kids.
shit, kids. Yeah. So yes, we hear the shit is beeped out by a truck backing into their driveway because it is dropping off a brand new reclining chair that Carl, the dad, has just ordered. In this reclining chair, right? This is like the shit back in the 90s and early 20s, if you recall, getting Sharper Image like catalogs in the mail. And it was like
Yes.
heaven, just like, oh my God, I want that doohickey. I want that random
You
tech
could
thing that I will never use.
pimp
I want this
out my
alarm that
recliner.
has a soda stream attached to it. This like
The
plug.
massage feature, the
Yes.
foot soaker.
Exactly. This is that exact kind of recliner. Like it's got everything built into it. It's decked out with all of the bells and whistles, including like, yes, a built-in soda machine. So this is kind of like a Pimp My Recliner level recliner. Like exhibit's gonna come out like, hey, Carl, we heard that old recliner was busted. It's like throws it in the back of the truck, comes back a week later. This thing's like shiny, has all these buttons and shit on it, like for no reason at all. Yeah, and
Hell
it
yeah.
hardly works. Just like Pimp My
Obviously.
Ride.
You actually has
So-
all this stuff, but you can't recline in it.
exactly.
We took
You
out the
can
recliner
you
mechanics.
barely sit in it. If you sit in it, it might slightly electrocute you, but look at how cool it
But look at it.
is.
It's also all purple leather now.
Yes. So Carl, he's excited to test out this new recliner, but his wife, aka Milo's mom, she reminds him like, "Hey, don't get too comfortable in there, like setting that up because we signed up for glow in the dark bowling and we need to get going soon."
Yep.
Which, by the way, sounds fucking incredible.
Yeah,
glow in the dark bowling.
I'm
I've
here
never
for
heard
it.
of this.
Same.
Yeah. But to demonstrate
yes.
what it is, his mom like turns the light off and shows that her whole outfit, like her bowling fit, is glowing in the dark.
Hell
So it's
yeah.
like, oh my God, it's not just like the balls are glowing in the
Or like
dark
the
and like
shoes.
everything around them. No. Where do I buy glow in the dark clothes? I need to know. And how do you wash them?
Is this a bowling rave? Is what it sounds like.
Pretty much.
Their parents
like,
are going
me.
to a rave. Yes. Hell
yeah, Milo, don't wait up.
Milo, go take out the trash.
Yeah. So before the parents leave, Carl warns Milo not to touch or play with the recliner at all. He doesn't want a single imprint in that chair when he comes back. The dad, Carl, he wants to be the first one to sit in it. He doesn't want it broken. He is extremely excited about the Sharper Image recliner.
Okay.
And meanwhile, Milo's mom is just like, yeah, be good, eat your veggies and stuff, and like drink some water. Don't watch too much TV. Good night. And she leaves.
Goodbye.
I love this mom. She was like, I don't even fuck. Like,
I don't
do you
give a
with
shit
your chair
about
and
this
shit. I don't
chair.
give a- your stupid chair. Like, let's go bowl. That's
We have
my
plans.
energy. Exactly. So Milo, as soon as his parents leave, he immediately
Of course.
disrespects both of them. Yeah, like he doesn't listen. He goes into the kitchen and pulls the veggies and the food that his mom made for him out of out of the fridge, looks at it, and immediately throws it into the trash
Ah,
can, which kills
ungrateful.
me. Even if you don't like the food, don't throw it away.
Yeah,
Just
just
suck
be
it up.
like, she's
Just
gonna
suck it
know
up.
you didn't eat it.
Also, that, I mean, he
Keep
puts it
it in the
right on
fridge
top.
and they'll have it for leftovers. Like,
Yeah, someone will eat it.
yeah, don't throw it
So
away. This kid.
again, this kid, he's the worst. He
Kid.
is the worst. And instead of eating this homemade food that his mother probably lovingly, or at least somewhat lovingly, kindly made for him, he just grabs a bag of chips from the pantry, plops right down onto,
The
you
recliner.
guessed it, the recliner, and makes himself comfortable. But of course, the salty potato chips, they can
Oh
parch the
God.
throat a bit, right? You get a little thirsty, and he's sitting there thinking, man, now all I need is some fresh soda to quench this thirst.
Mhm.
And of course, the new recliner, it makes this is like a commercial now. This new recliner makes refills a breeze
Are
with
we
the built-in
sponsored by
soda
Sharper
machine.
Image? Is
Ooh,
Sharper Image still
I
around?
think they went out of business. They don't do the catalogs anymore, at least. So that leads me, that was
Yeah.
like their whole thing. Because
Or
nobody
like
I don't think anyone plans on going to Sharper Image. You
the
get a
like
catalog or you're
FYE
already at the mall.
store also had
Yeah.
recliners like
Ooh.
that.
Yeah,
Are
they
they
did.
still
I miss
around?
FYE. Good question.
There's no way these two companies are still in business, right?
Yeah, if they are, it's like wholesale, you like got to go to the warehouse and just like get it
Yeah.
there. They're like, we don't do brick and mortar anymore or like retail
Yeah.
stops, and
No,
malls are
no.
way too expensive. Yeah. Good question. Hey, Sharper Image, if anyone
Call us.
listening is around, call us. Like,
Sorry we just shit talked you and said we didn't believe in you. We
hey,
do.
but we love you. We started by saying how much we
Yes.
appreciate you and miss you. I wish you guys still
Yes.
actually no, I'm glad you don't do the catalogs. It's horrible for the environment.
Yeah, we don't
But
want that shit.
yeah, I hope you're still in business though. I could
Yeah.
use an alarm clock that also has like
A
a
soda
popcorn
machine.
machine or a soda machine attached to it. So I could maybe find room in my tiny apartment for that
For
probably.
popcorn
So
machine.
yeah.
That
Conveniently
also
has
is a
an alarm
disco
clock.
ball.
And has like a Bluetooth speaker in it and like a phone cleaner or something. It's just like the most
Yes.
random stuff, but you love it. We
All in
love it.
one.
So yeah, just like all those all-in-one things, Milo, he's like, I'm gonna just get some cola right from this fucking recliner that
Yeah.
I'm in. So he presses whatever button, opens up this cola machine, and it's
Does it like
actually
come
really
out through the
cool.
armrest?
It does. Yeah, it's like so
Boom.
I want to say it's like a whole like rectangular thing that like just like pops out. So I hope you didn't need that armrest or
Well,
anything either.
I
Like
knew
it's not conducive.
as
Yeah.
as I knew it came from the armrest because I think of every time in Pit My Ride that they're like, and now, and they take down like the middle console type of thing. You have a
Yeah.
bar. And you're like, it's in my
Yeah.
car though. So it's like I
It's
wanted to put
like
the
in the
middle thing
trunk.
down in the back seat so we could rest our arms, but instead a
You have a
mixologist is
bar.
here.
Exactly. One of
That's
my
how I knew
favorites.
it was in the arm.
And now we're gonna go. I feel we've gone on Pit My Ride tangents
We
on
talk
this
about
show
it all the
before.
time.
We do. We're gonna do it again right now, real quick. And I made a decision to reference it in the script because I was like, oh great, now Grace and I will talk about Pit My Ride.
It's
This is
simply our
perfect.
favorite thing to discuss.
It is. One of my absolute favorite memories from that show is when someone, I think she was like a basketball player or something like that,
Oh no.
they gutted her trunk and put like a toy
A hoop.
basketball court in her trunk. So it's like you can't even play on it. It was like a toy-sized basketball court. It was like, wow, this is cool, except now she
Is
can't use her
it?
trunk. No, it's not. It's not cool. She can't use her trunk. There's another one. I don't know if you've seen this. It's like a funny meme now online where they put like a whole like MRI thing in someone's car. Someone had like a station wagon. And so it was like the two front seats and
What?
everything behind that was an MRI thing because she wanted to be whatever sort of doctor studies like the brain or whatever.
You
So
know
like
what? What
not
if?
even an MRI tech, not even someone who actually uses the machine, but just the doctor who studies like neurology. And he was like, let's
What
put an
if?
MRI machine in
What
your
if
arm.
also like two things of one, like MRI machines are like you have to be very careful with them. Like you can't have any metal on you in any way, shape, or form. I've
Yeah.
had to get multiple MRIs. It's a whole thing. But
Yeah.
also, what if like us making fun of it right now, but in reality, Exhibit was like, do you know how rare it is for insurances to allow MRIs? The cost of healthcare in this country is
He
outrageous. I'm
actually
bringing
went like
healthcare to the
full
street.
socialist.
You know, the basketball court one was like, our schools are underfunded. And one of the things that they're cutting is gym time, but our students need
Yeah.
time to exercise and play and really be kids. And he has a
All
huge
you have to do is
socialist
pull your
agenda.
yeah, all you have to do is pull your car to the nearest public park, and then you're giving kids an extra area to play. Wow. You know what exhibit? You're probably right. What was his name? I think Mad Mike or whatever. He was the craziest of all of the like I don't want to call him an engineer, mechanics, an auto mechanic. He was the
We're
one who
like,
had all, like literally, they called him Mad Mike because he thought it would be a good idea to put an MRI machine in a car. So like
and it's
those two were
like,
actually like Marxists.
I was gonna say in 2024, where are they now? And Mad Mike's a campaigner for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, or they're like teaching like leftist politics and like economic systems at like Columbia or something or like Harvard.
Yeah, Mad Mike had a
Like at the new
PhD.
school, University of Chicago, like the most progressive, like acclaimed schools in America. Hilarious.
Well, I love that for him. I'm rewriting
Hey,
this entire show's history.
me too, me too. And in hindsight, Pimp My Ride was actually a great show when you look at it that way.
I
I
mean,
had the
it
right
was a great show
idea.
no matter what for entertainment
Yeah,
purposes, but now it's a revolutionary show.
it is. Oh God. Oh man, Exhibit's about to be under federal investigation now, just because we're tying these lines together. Sorry, Exhibit. So
Oops.
yeah, so we've got this pimped out recliner. Milo is eating his salty potato chips and he's thirsty.
Mm.
So he makes a actually a pretty dope Star Trek reference. I'm gonna give him a thumbs up for this one. He's like, Captain, time to commence cherry cola drinking. And then he's like, make it so, and presses a button.
All
I had,
right.
I had to throw it in
That's
there.
good.
Good one. And this soda machine, it's weird. It's not like you put your cup to it and it comes out. It has like a hose that like seemingly no one has control over. And so this hose just like
Okay.
flies everywhere. And cherry cola gets all over the sofa,
Oh, okay.
everywhere, and all over Milo too.
Okay.
So we now see that this brand new, or not sofa, this recliner is now covered in a red sugary
I was
goo.
about to ask, is it red liquid? Does it look like
It
blood
is. It
everywhere?
looks like blood. It looks bad.
Okay. I
Yes.
knew it. I somehow knew it.
Yes. Yeah. You can't base something off of an Edgar Allan Poe short story and
Yeah,
not have something possibly resembling blood.
I was like, cherry cola? That's very specific. Oh
Hmm.
no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couldn't
Hell yeah.
be, couldn't be Sprite or like lemon lime, the clear
Oh,
kind, had to be, couldn't be brown, like the brown leather of the
no, it had to
recliner,
be
had to
choosing
be
violence.
blood red. Exactly. Thick red, sugary soda.
Mm, great.
Yeah, choosing violence. So Milo, he panics. He's like, oh my God, dad's going to kill me. What am I going to do? What am I going to tell him? He doesn't think, how do I clean this out of the chair? He thinks
Is
immediately,
what
again, just
lie?
showing how much of a liar. Exactly.
I
What
murdered
lie can
someone.
I tell?
Sorry, Dad.
Dad, it was a burglar came in. I murdered them on the recliner. That's their blood. It's not sweet. I promise you, do not taste it.
Don't taste
So
it.
it's funny that you said that though, because yeah, I mean,
Is
he
it?
kind of like spitballs some of the ideas that he has. He's like, well, I could say it was like burglars who came in, or I could say it was marauding Vikings or something like this or that.
Okay, so
But
it is
then he stops.
involving another human being.
It is,
Someone's
yes.
blood. Okay.
But he stops himself. He's like, wait, no, I've already used all of those lies before for other things I fucked up in the past. So, yeah,
Okay.
apparently marauding Vikings broke his dad's golf clubs or something one time in the past,
Mm,
according to Milo.
okay.
So he's like, dang it, I don't think they will believe those stories again. And so he's panicking even more, increasingly trying to figure out how he can conceal this from his father, mostly his father, really both of his parents, but mostly his
Mhm.
dad. And suddenly, as he's like pacing around the family room, the chair becomes animated. Like,
Oh,
I mean, it's already animated, it's a cartoon,
it
but it
comes
comes
alive.
alive.
Yes.
Yes. And it starts moving on its own, like the recliner, the leg
Is he
part is
sitting
like
in it
flipping
still?
open. No, I don't think he is at this point. I think it like no, he's not. He's standing by it and the recliner like pops open and like kicks him and like knocks him over. And
Uh-oh.
that's how he notices, like, oh shit, like this thing is
This is
alive
different.
now. Oh no.
Okay.
And the like the hose with the soda thing starts flying everywhere again.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, this chair seems possessed because not only is it sitting
Okay.
there moving around, it starts chasing Milo around the house.
Okay.
And yeah, he is terrified naturally. So this
Correct.
sofa, it's chasing him around. He's trying to hide and it keeps popping up and like finding him no matter where he's hiding in the house. And as he like decides to just book it out of the house for safety, he runs out the front door, but he runs directly into his parents who have already returned home from
Uh-oh. Is he
their
also
glow in the
covered
dark bowling.
currently in cherry
He
cola
still
still?
has cherry cola all
Blood
over
all
his
over
shirt and
him.
shorts.
Okay.
Yeah, but like my first thought would be like, oh my God, Milo, did you kill something? What happened? But
No, I
no, the
that's where you
parents,
spin the lie is someone
yeah,
attacked
someone
me.
attacked me and they got out of the house. They bled all over the recliner and then they left. They ran. They were afraid of me, so they ran
Yes, this
away.
is their blood on me. I did stab them and
Yes.
they ran.
Yes. And they took the knife that I did it with too, so you won't be able to find.
It was their own knife. I fought it out of their hands.
Yes. So I don't remember what he looks like though. He had a mask on, so I can't report him or anything. We're just gonna have to trust me on this one. So the parents see that something is obviously wrong with Milo by the way that he's like storming out of the house when he runs into them. And they're like, Milo, what did you do? What's wrong? And the dad is immediately like, did you do
My
something
chair.
to my chair? Yeah. And Milo's like, no, I promise it was already like that. Like they run in, like, what happened exactly? Like, boy, you better get your shit
Like
together. You're
what?
not as good at lying. Like, what? Exactly. And they run in and they look at the chair and they immediately, obviously, notice the massive cola stains on it. And
Yes.
the dad, he puts his finger on it and tastes it. And he's like, this is soda, right? So, yeah, thankfully it was
The
not
jig is
blood.
up.
Actually,
It
it'd be a regular, like, Fred Jones moment. Wasn't there one episode where he, like,
was like our first
got the
episode
red paint?
ever.
Yeah, it
He
was
was
like
like, "What's
such a
this?"
fucked up thing to do. Oh, no, it's just paint.
Which
We're
also
good.
not good to taste.
Won't eat that. Yeah. I don't know if he actually ate it. I think he just like smelled it or something, but it's still weird. Like,
Either
what
way,
if it
not
was
great.
blood, Freddy? What if it
You
was
just
blood?
stuck
Ew.
your hand into that crime
Yeah.
scene.
Ugh. So Milo, he reverts to his old classic lines and
Tear it.
lies. He says that it was the Vikings. The Vikings did it, Dad. I promise it wasn't me. And then he says, or maybe actually, I think it was a traveling vacuum salesman. Like, we all hate them, right? It was one of them. You can get behind that lie.
Huh.
But eventually, he is able to kind of convince his parents, more so his mother, that the chair was probably just a lemon. He's like, it was like that already, Dad. I swear. Like,
Mm,
that was just there.
a
And the mom
defect.
is like, you know, it's not improbable. Like, it could, yeah, just be a defect. And
Sharper
the
Image is
dad,
going out of business, so this could be why.
they are having tough times with keeping their inventory clean and ready for shipping. So at this point, look, you can tell that the parents are both obviously tired, especially the dad. He says that I think like I'm Bush. You know what? Whatever. You're right, honey. Maybe it was a lemon. We'll deal with this tomorrow, regardless. Like the
Mhm.
store's closed tonight, so there's nothing I can do tonight. I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Milo, tomorrow, do not forget that we're talking about this. Like, don't think you got off the hook that
Put a pin in
easily.
it.
Exactly. Put a pin in that. Our favorite line on this podcast. So something strange, though, happens that night, even stranger than all of the other stuff that has already
Yeah, I was gonna
happened
say.
thus far in the
Speedy.
episode.
Uh-huh.
Milo, who, he normally is confident in his lies and he's normally fine with the things that he tells people, the lies that he tells people. And he's able to sleep like a baby, even knowing how much he lies and tells mistruths. But
Mhm.
tonight, after ruining his father's recliner, he's tossing and turning all
Guilt.
night long. Exactly.
Waiting for
He's
those cops
having
to come knock on the
nightmares.
door and tear up those floorboards.
Exactly. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. The recliner's fine. See, it's right there.
It's always been there. You don't hear
Yeah.
it?
And yeah, so he's having nightmares about this recliner chasing him at night deep into the woods, attacking him, eating him essentially. And he wakes up in a cold sweat screaming, and he
Oh,
decides that he has to get rid of this recliner so that his dad never finds out the truth. And so what he does is he
what an
looks out his
option.
window. I know, right? Like, dude, again, if you had just jumped on it and tried cleaning the stain out as soon as it happened, you
Yeah,
probably would be fine right now.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but whatever. He's a stupid freshman, so we'll just leave him at it. And he's a liar. We don't like this kid anyway. We need him
Yeah,
to
true,
learn
true,
his
true.
lesson.
True, true, true.
So the kid, he looks outside and he remembers, oh my God, tomorrow's trash morning. Remember, I was supposed to take the trash cans out. Oops.
So put it on the curb.
So he literally runs downstairs, throws the box back over the sofa, and drags that shit out front to the curb by the
Wow.
trash cans. And he's still restless. He can't sleep. So he just stares out of his window all night, waiting for the trashmen to get there first thing in the morning to make
Mhm.
sure that the thing
You
is
say,
gone.
you better hope your dad doesn't wake up first.
I know, right? Truly. Also that. And he does like eventually kind of fall asleep, but he like stays with his head on the
Oh,
windowsill and
yeah.
then wakes up as he hears the trashman coming and like driving away the next morning. And so he's excited by this. He's happy. He's like, all right, awesome. This thing is out of my life. We're
I
free.
solved this
This
problem. My
possess,
parents
I've
can't
solved
get their
this
money back
problem.
now.
Exactly. They can't get their money back, but I don't care. I'm a kid. I didn't pay for it. I'm not thinking about that. All I'm thinking about is that whatever demon recliner this was, it is no
Mhm.
longer in my life. And so, look, I know you don't like horror movies, Grace, but I know you read about a lot of horror
Yeah,
movies.
I
You
want to
know
hear
plots
about
to a
it.
lot of horror movies. Anyone who watches a good horror movie, I don't know, Annabelle, The Babadook, there's so
Mm.
many others I can think
Uh-oh.
of.
We're
You
about to get
throw away
psychological.
a thing that you think is possessed, you just throw it in the trash and you're like, yeah,
No,
sure, we're
ma'am.
probably fine. Yeah, no, it never works that way. It
Uh-uh.
will come and
You
it will
only make
find
it
you.
angry.
Exactly. So before we see what happens with that, though, Milo, the next morning, or that same morning, I guess, he gets up even earlier than his parents. He leaves them a note on the kitchen table that says, Dear Mom and Dad, I had to get to school early today for choir practice. Love, Milo. P.S. The guys from the chair place came and took it back this morning. They said it was recalled because of factory defects. Since I was up early, I figured I'd take care of it and let you guys sleep in. And the parents are
PPS.
reading this note.
No money back.
Yeah, by the way, you will not be refunded, nor
You
will
did
you
not
get a
get the
new sofa.
warranty. Yeah.
Yeah, you forgot to register it, Dad. So sorry. So his parents are reading this note over the kitchen table after Milo's left, and his mom buys it like, oh, what a sweet son. He's the best we could ever
These
ask
parents are
for.
enabling.
His mom is. The dad is like, yeah, I'm pretty skeptical. I don't
Correct.
know if I believe this. We're going to talk with him still about this when he gets back from school this afternoon. But
Mhm.
also, just a very funny line that the writers threw in there. Like his mom, after reading the note, she says, yeah, like he's the sweetest son. He's so good. And Carl, I can't believe you wanted to trade him in for another one. Like, damn. didn't even know that was an option, but good to know,
I
I guess, in
mean,
the future.
and his
Yeah.
mom is like, and we didn't because we know throwing away possessed bad things doesn't work
Doesn't work. He would just find a way back to our doorstep. He would
with
haunt us at our
vengeance.
offices. Exactly. And yes, I'm glad that you brought us back to that because we then again see Milo on his walk to school, and everything seems fine at first. The sky is
Mhm.
blue, birds are chirping. He's like talking to his neighbors as he walks by. They're all waving at him, asking him about like things that he's lied about in the past. Obviously, they don't know it's lies. They're saying, like, hey, Milo, how was the big game? And he's like, it was great. I got 3 touchdowns and what did he say? And won like the high jump or something like that. And like, oh, so he plays football and track and field, and
And
he did them
track.
in the
Wow.
same day. Cool.
High
Awesome.
jump
Nice.
over like the
The
touchdown post.
players. Yeah, exactly.
Those are hurdles,
Which would be a
actually.
massive record. Yeah, probably.
The smallest
So, huh,
child.
good for you, Milo. Good for you, Milo. Good for you. So yes, everything seems bright and beautiful, and like, yeah, the curse is gone. The demons are no longer
I've done it.
haunting him. He's, erased this whole debacle with the chair, the recliner. But he then starts to kind of notice something, two unsettling things, if you will.
Hmm.
The first is that as he's walking and looking at, his neighbor's porches and everything, and I think like an estate sale or garage sale at one of his neighbor's houses, he starts noticing that like, there are a lot more chairs around here than I remember. Like chairs are everywhere. Porch swings, porch freaking, what do you
Mm.
call them? Rocking chairs,
I
old
mean, it's
antique
like
chairs at
when
garage
you get a
sales.
Subaru, suddenly you see Subarus
You see them
everywhere. When you
everywhere.
get a truck, you
Exactly.
suddenly see that same truck everywhere. You
Hmm.
notice what your mind is on.
Yeah,
That's it, right?
exactly.
That's
That's
it.
it. That's all.
That's
That's
what he's
it.
thinking.
Yeah. Sure, sure. Yeah. Until all of these chairs start to watch him.
Oh,
They
well.
have facial features, if you will, not
Oh,
actual faces, but for example, a porch swing. The wooden beam on the back of it turns in to look like eyebrows, and the bottom beam,
oh,
kind of turns under to look like a growl or a
oh,
frown or a
okay.
frown or something like that. And all these other chairs start to grow some sort of features, or like the buttons in them start to like contort to look
Oh,
like angry monster chair faces.
okay. This
And they're
is
watching him as
not
he
great.
makes his way down the street.
And
Yes,
is he
very
noticing
unsettling and very
this?
not great. Oh, he notices. He
Oh,
notices
okay.
because he then takes off running and screaming and flailing his
Correct.
arms in the air.
I mean, what else would you do?
Yeah, that exact thing. Cry, fetal position,
Yeah.
call for my mother. I don't know. And all of these things at once.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, he's nervous about this. He's panicking and he runs to book the school. But when he arrives to school, he's met with even more horror and torture because the reclining chair, our sharper
Uh-huh.
image special, it is already in his classroom
Oh,
waiting for him.
are there any
In
students
the
around? Is it
so,
just
yep, they're no, they're the teacher and the students are there. They're all walking in. It's, like first bell, or
okay?
maybe this is homeroom or something.
Okay.
And the teacher, she says, Milo, I'm so glad that you like brought your project or your presentation with you
This is your
already.
cultural object.
Exactly. She uses this for his like show and tell thing for, yeah, like cultural studies. What does she call it? She says it's a not a cultural recliner. What does she say? Oh man, I wish I would have written it down. But she says something like Milo is now going to tell us about this eclectic recliner, this historic recliner or something, and its place in society and culture. Yeah. So she like, since the chair is already there and right in the front of the classroom, she pretty much forces Milo into it and is like, go ahead, give your presentation. Like, let's get started,
Uh-oh.
kick us off. But when Milo sits in the chair, he like immediately becomes possessed, like on some like poltergeist type shit or something. It just like takes him over, and the chair
Uh-oh.
begins to light up in this blue and white light. It's like glowing, and Milo just turns to a trance, and his eyes are like doing those spiral
Oh
things, right?
no.
And in this very monotone voice, he begins admitting to all of the lies he's told while the
Ooh.
chair is like continuously pouring cup after cup of cherry cola and then
All
like
over
just
him.
like tossing it down his throat. No, it's like pouring the cups fine and then just like
Oh,
feeding
like
the cups into
force
his mouth
feeding
and then
it.
like throwing the cup and then pouring another one and then throwing the cup and then it's just
Oh
like over and
God.
over to the point where like he's telling all these lies and again you see like the time lapse thing happen where it's like the end of the period and at the end you just see all these empty cups surrounding him and he's still just in this trance saying
There's one
like
kid in the back who forgot to bring in show and tell, and he's like, "Oh, thank God,
thank God. Thank God. Dude, this is
well, it's
me
got my
on so
back."
many occasions. Like in high school, truly, like, oh my God, I hope that these people take forever so they don't get to me, or else I'm gonna have to make some shit up, or like, let me go to the bathroom real quick so I don't have to,
Yeah,
I'm
one kid
not
was
here.
sweating back there, probably
Yes,
Hitch, and
yes.
was so
And
glad.
like they were sweating and then like snuck one of those cups of cola, like, thank God, it's getting hot in
It's
here.
really hot here. Oh God.
Yeah. So, yeah, some of the just for shits and giggles, some of the lies that he admits
Oh
to
yes, let's hear it.
telling. He says, like, I don't own a race car.
You can't
And then he
drive.
says, he also true. He's like, I never made out with Mimi Valentine, and she doesn't keep a picture of me under her pillow. And Mimi's just sitting there staring at him, like, yeah.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Like, yeah, God damn it, stop talking shit about me.
She's
And
got like a
then
Ouija board there staring at him like she's part of the demon.
she's the one doing this, yeah,
Uh-huh.
getting him to admit. And then the last one I wrote down that is hilarious is he's like, I'm not related to NSYNC.
What an incredible sign of
Which
the times.
exactly, I mean, so good. And at the same time, I'm like, he doesn't even know what NSYNC is, obviously. It's like he's heard of them, but it's like
From
you're
Mimi.
not related to which one? Which one are you not related
All of
to?
them?
Any of them. I mean, he's not related to all of them. Uh,
But did he
so
say he was
fair, I
related
guess.
to all of them? But yeah, like Mimi
Yeah,
listens to them, so he told that lie to impress her
exactly. Propskis,
for
you're right.
sure.
So eventually, after all of these admissions are given, the trance-like state ends. I guess the chair is like, all right, that's enough out of you for now. You just like had verbal vomit, word vomit.
Uh-huh.
And Milo, he reawakens and he's
Oh,
like,
okay.
I have no idea where he is. Like he has no memory of what just happened.
Oh,
Momo runs up to him and is like, are you
you good?
okay? That was crazy.
Also, the
You good,
teacher
dude?
is just like,
What
all
is the
right,
teacher doing? I'm
C
trying to
minus.
remember. I actually am trying to remember what the teacher's doing. If she looks, I think she does look a little concerned, but like she's not like stopping anything or saying anything. She's like,
She's like,
wow, that
but
was
where's your written
eclectic.
report that you were also
Yeah.
supposed to include?
So, so I'm not seeing the written report, so I'm gonna have to take 50% off
Shucks.
of your grade, Milo. I
Well,
hope
you
you
didn't
know that.
complete the assignment, I
Yeah.
noticed.
So sorry. Oh, you just got possessed by a demon and still are only going to get a 50% on this.
She's like,
That's
so was the
unfortunate.
demon the cultural object, Pazuzu? Is
Pazuzu, which one is
that
it?
the cultural
Baphomet?
reference?
Which one are we? Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
wait, he didn't really say how this was connected to a piece
All
of
right.
history
Which
here.
culture are we talking about? Are we going
With
Roman? Are we going
that this
like
demon came
Peruvian
from.
demons? Like from Mayan days? Are we doing
Because
like
also
where
like this
are
a
we?
Ouija Falls and Lone Pine High is just like so full of spooky shit that this is not the first demon that was like given a presentation and she was just like,
No,
yeah, you're
I think that's
supposed
why she's not
to.
phased.
Yeah. She was like, that seemed a little painful for you, so I'm concerned, but also you did not complete the full report.
Right.
The demon can't give
Yeah.
it for you, also.
The demon is like growling while she's saying this, and she's like, excuse me, I'm trying to talk to my student. Excuse me,
You are not
demon,
allowed to give
hold your
any of this
son for just one
presentation.
moment, please. Yes, you're not allowed to help him with this. This is Milo's project, okay? You
Not
are the
yours.
presentation. Yeah. So yeah, Momo was asking Milo Krasinski if he's fine. Like, dude, that was insane. Because obviously We
Mo
know
was
that
into it.
Mo loves, yeah, he loves the supernatural. He's like, dude, that was wild. Are you all
Hell yeah, can
right?
I get
Like,
in the chair?
yeah, no, get out of there. Let me
Let me
see, like
take a
straps him
ride.
in. Nothing's happening. um, and Milo is just like, I don't remember anything. But then he just like 2 seconds later is like, oh my God, I have to pee. And so he just like bursts through everybody. Yeah. And runs to the
Yeah, that
bathroom
checks.
and pees. And it takes him quite a minute, obviously, because yeah, there's like 20 freaking cups
Gallons.
of cherry cola. You know, literally, he's just been force fed like a gallon of cherry cola in 30 minutes.
Gross.
But as he leaves the bathroom, he looks down the hall, and you guessed it, the chair is still
Air.
right at the end of the hallway. It is following him wherever he
Oh.
goes in this school. It did not follow him into the bathroom, so that was very polite of it. But it is
Couldn't
in
fit
the
through the door.
hallway.
It's too big of a
Exactly. It
chair.
tried. You just see
Someone
like the
turn me
recliner just
sideways.
like trying to like open the door. Pivot.
Pivot.
Pivot. Oh man.
The
So
demons are pivoting in the stairwell.
you're like multiple demons yelling over each other. So Milo, when he sees the recliner at the end of one of the hallways, he runs over to a janitor and he's like, oh my God, you need to help me. Like, we got to get rid of this chair. And the janitor's like, oh, what are you going on about? This is just one of those nice new recliners. And he walks up to it, the janitor, and he's like, oh, but that's a shame. It's got a bad stain on it. And Milo's like, yeah, the stain. The stain has Ebola in it, actually. And
Sir.
so it's gonna kill us all if people touch it. And so then, like, in the next scene, we just see the chair like in the incinerator in the boiler room or something. Like, and the janitor like wiping his hands, like, ah, those damn hippies, like spreading all their viruses
Oh my
everywhere.
God.
Yeah.
Another job well done.
Yeah, literally.
Another demon
Uh,
taken care of.
yeah, that's enough for one day at Ouija Fall or at Lone Pine High School. And of course, in a very foreboding way, we see after, the janitor leaves and turns the lights off and everything, we see through like the grates of the boiler, whatever it
Yeah.
is, the chair is still there. It is being burnt up, but it looks angrier than it did before, and it is doing its
Obviously,
weird, like laugh, growl, haunting thingy.
Milo.
Yeah.
You're just
Yeah.
making it
Milo
angrier.
clearly doesn't watch enough horror movies. Yeah.
Milo is skipping
Um,
all of the demonology classes that they offer at Lone Pine High.
but they do. They have to.
Curses, possessions, and demons 101.
And
It's
demons,
it's
the
an
big
AP
three.
course and he didn't get into it.
No, he's not ready yet.
He's just a
He'll know
freshman.
after
He
this.
didn't
He will
take
be able
it.
to teach the course.
I don't know. It seems like he's not learning his lesson.
Yeah. So Milo, he's walking home after school now. And for a brief moment, he feels a bit of relief. He's like, the janitor, he took care of the chair. It's burnt. There's no way that it could still be alive, right? Wrong. As he's walking, he encounters the reclining chair again on some street corner and again goes into a panic and starts running. And he's feeling suffocated now by the chair closing in on him. Like everywhere he goes, running down the streets of Ouija Falls, this chair seems to follow him. He doesn't really know where he's going, but the chair does, and it always
Oh,
beats him there. So he'll turn
okay.
around thinking he's safe. Like, I think he goes to a bowling alley, actually. The chair is
Still in the
there,
dark.
getting a strike, believe it or not. He goes to a car wash. The chair is there, coming through the little bristle things, looking all nice and clean, although the stain is
Terrifying,
still
actually.
on it. So, not a good car wash. That would be scary, too. Like, who's driving you through here?
Exactly.
So, yes, this thing is following him everywhere.
Mm.
But amid this chase, Milo, he's consumed by psychological torture, and he
Hmm.
eventually just like falls into this trance while having like these flashbacks of lies told in the past.
Oh,
Like he
the
sees
guilt
like
is getting to
Mimi's,
him.
it's getting to him. Like he sees Mimi's face floating in like a black cloud saying like, "You must stop lying," and like Hitch and Momo, all these classmates and teachers
Uh-huh.
and everyone just, and his dad, he's just going crazy, if you will.
Hmm.
And he awakens in his family's living room, of all places, in the recliner. And his parents are looking at him like, Milo, calm down. Because he again wakes up from this trance and like a manic,
Dreaming.
almost like it was like, yeah, like a fever dream, like flailing and screaming. And his
Uh-huh.
parents are like, calm down. What are you doing? Calm down. And before his parents can even ask him what the hell is going on or say, like, how, where did you just come from? He immediately, Milo, fesses up to everything,
Hmm.
not only about the chair and where the stain on it came from, but also about how the Vikings did not, in fact, break the dad's golf
Golf
clubs,
clubs.
how his grandmother never actually said that he could use her bank account, and how his
Uh-oh.
mother is actually a horrible cook and he throws her food away or flushes it down the toilet after she makes it. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. You could have stopped
Whoa.
at the chair. I'm sure that the dad forgot about the golf clubs by now.
Or you could have just said, I throw
You
your
should have
food out,
just
mom, because I'm a shitty kid. You have to
that
insult her.
too. Exactly. And she's just sitting there the whole time, like, oh, like she's like kind of speechless. So
She's
I'm
like,
like, oh
can
my
we
God, I feel
still
so.
trade him in?
Yeah. Looks at
Is
Carl
that
like, is that
still
offer still on
available?
the table?
You saved that paperwork, right?
Right? It's still there.
You saw that
So,
warranty?
it's a factory defect on our kit. It's a 12 or a, how old are freshmen? 14, 15. It's a 15-year
Uh-huh.
warranty.
We're
Yeah.
just under the wire. Let's go.
Yeah. So, with each truth that Milo tells or each admission that he
Hmm.
makes, the stain in the chair begins to fade away. And eventually, the
Ooh.
recliner returns to its normal, non possessed self. So, in the end, the
Wow.
truth shall set you free and allow you to recline. The at least of story one.
Wow. Can I make a really quick comment on it?
Yeah, dude, I was gonna say if you want, we can just like hash out each one of these stories one by one. The next two are super short, like
Yeah,
maybe three
I
minutes
just
each. So yeah, we can
I
do all of
simply
our
don't want
wild
to forget.
speculation. Please
Um,
do, yes.
well, one of like, wow, what a groundbreaking uh cartoon, obviously based on something else. But
Yes.
I think of how like in, I don't know, what is it, probably the last like 5 years to a decade, the like trend of horror movies has become like the horrible thing represents a psychological thing of like,
Yeah.
yeah, the Babadook of grief and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And so I was like,
Yeah.
wow, whoever directed all of these
They
like
were ahead of their
late,
times.
yeah, early 2020s horror movies saw this episode and was like,
Yeah.
wait a second,
That
then went and
actually
read the
is a
Telltale
good
Heart and was
point.
like, wait
That's
a
such a
second.
good point, actually, because yeah, that's kind of like a newer trend in horror movies too.
Yeah.
Like they've had those kind of themes, like you mentioned, like the grief actually being the monster.
Yeah.
But it's like I feel like almost every horror movie now has that kind of as a backdrop to like
Yes, it actually is something else, psychological
exactly.
that you must instead deal with, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
The other
Good
comment
point.
I have is that, you know, I don't know if this was your experience or not, but I'm like, we all met a kid like Milo, like growing up, just like that one kid who wouldn't fucking stop lying. And let me tell you
Yeah.
about the kid that I met who did that.
Oh.
I don't remember her name. I
Okay,
remember
good.
that she was a new student in second grade. I always feel like it's the new student thing because they're like, I got to
You're
make an
trying to impress
impression.
everybody.
I
Yeah.
moved to a new school. I'm sure every kid who does this has some family things going on IRL, but
Yes.
we'll ignore
Fair.
that. But yeah, the new student, like I got to impress everyone right away. I don't
Yeah.
remember, I only remember one of her lies, but I do remember that it
But
was
it
like,
was big enough to
it
remember it
was
like
big
20
enough that
years
I
later.
remember it.
Yeah.
And that, like, I'm sure there were like thousands more type of thing. But this lie
Hmm.
that I remember, because you know me, I love my deep sea creatures, I love my
Hmm.
oceans, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
This second
Uh-oh.
grader said, that her and her family went scuba diving in South Africa and she rode a great white shark.
Oh, wow.
I remember her saying, I waved my hands in front of its eyes while I was riding it. So, like, that was the level of pathological, like Milo level lying.
That's
I think her name started with an
absolutely.
A. I can't
Yeah.
really remember it, but I
Do
just knew her in
you,
second
what
grade and
grade
that
did
was
you say
it.
this was? Oh,
This
second
was, I think,
grade?
second grade. I think
Okay.
she transferred out after that year because I like never saw her again, which is probably why
She,
she lied constantly because
exactly. I was going
probably
to say that's why
constantly
she did it. She
moving.
went somewhere new every year, which also, well, I feel, well, no, I don't know this person. I feel bad talking about this person without knowing who it is, but I don't give a fuck,
I
whatever.
don't fucking remember.
Like sad also because
Yeah.
moving around frequently can be very distressing for
Yes.
children
Exactly, which is
and like
why I
hard to like
caveat that with
socialize.
like
Yeah.
she was new. I'm sure there was things
Or
going on, very not
someone caught her
stable.
out about the lie, Grace. Someone said, you
It's
ride a
probably
great white
me.
shark. And she went home, it was you.
I was about
And
to
she
be
went
like,
home that night. She went home that
we
night. She's
gotta
like, I
go.
need to change schools. This girl named Grace is threatening to kill me or something
She
like
got
that.
out her
And she believed a
eyewitness
ridiculous
book
lie.
about sharks and said, really, bitch?
You did that?
You'd
Huh.
be dead.
Yeah. And that was
Literally.
her way of interpreting, oh my God, she's gonna kill me. She said I should be dead. She went like again, just all signs of like pathological liars.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
exactly to her
man, I hope
parents.
she's okay now. I hope she's
Yeah, I
doing
hope she
better
grew out of
now.
it.
And yeah.
Who knows? I
Who
don't. I sure as
knows?
hell don't.
Maybe not. If she's listening, hey, drop a comment. If you're someone who went to grade school with Grace Folston in second grade and you remember telling a lie about great white sharks, I would love to know where you are
I
today.
would love to hear how you're doing in your other lies that you told. And did you get possessed by a demon
Ooh.
that is making you now fess up now?
So in this
Anyways,
case, if you're possessed about the thing that you lie about, in this case, Milo was possessed or being haunted by a demon recliner. For her, you know what? It's worth it being haunted by a demon shark.
yes, don't talk
If
shit
that
about my
doesn't teach you a
sharks.
lesson,
See what happens.
if that doesn't teach you a lesson about not lying, I don't know what will.
Exactly.
Being
All right,
chased
I'm
by demon
ready
sharks.
for the other mini
Cool.
stories.
All
I
right,
just needed
mini
to tell those
stories.
things.
And so these are both told by Milo, kind of in the
Oh,
middle of him telling, or sorry, told by Mo,
Momo. Okay,
Momo, in the
in
middle
the
of
middle,
him
Milo.
narrating this story about
Okay.
Milo. So the first one, it is the tale of the cesspool swamp devil.
Oh,
And
okay.
a little bit of background context for this is that there's a scene when they're in gym class. It was the gym class that
He
Milo
got
was
out
able to
of.
get out of. Exactly. And in gym that day, they're running cross country. And Mimi tells Milo or Momo and Hitch that every time they do cross country, it seems like a couple of students don't come
Make it
back.
back.
Yeah.
See, again, this is why the
So
teacher was unfazed by the fucking demon chair because kids die at their school.
all the time. Like, yeah,
They
kids
just
go missing and
disappear.
die literally all the time.
Oh my God.
So in this case, Momo says, yeah, like the cesspool swamp devil. And Hitch and Mimi are like, what is that? And so Momo tells us a tale. One day, at, of course, Lone Pine High School, while the
Mhm.
students were running cross country during gym class, a lone student was running through the backstretch of Cesspool Swamp, which is the swamp behind the school. And it is a cesspool, unfortunately. So, as this lonely student ran through the dense swamp, it got darker and darker, and he became more and more scared as all of the like forest critters and like low key monsters, because it's Ouija Falls, were
Mhm.
howling at him, and like he could see their eyes flashing in the dark behind the trees. And so, this kid, instead of running around, I guess he was lost. He just kept running and kept running and kept running, thinking that he would just eventually be out of the swamp.
Uh-oh.
But instead, he just got deeper and deeper into the swamp, eventually becoming one with the swamp.
Uh-oh.
And
Okay.
he survived off of grubs and bugs and began drinking swamp water that was loaded with bug backwash.
Mm.
growing hair and fur all over his body,
No.
like sharp teeth and claws. And he soon became known as the cesspool swamp devil. He would terrorize anyone who dared to venture near the swamp and all who crossed his path. So you see him like, the classic like 80s horror movie trope of like
Ah,
teenagers in a convertible on a date at this
oh my
overlook, and he
God.
comes and
At
scares them
makeup
away.
point.
Yeah, exactly. And he just like steals their food and then runs away. But then one day, this cesspool swamp devil, he was captured by an angry mob of locals who were tired of him terrorizing the town.
Mm.
But knowing that he used to be a boy, a human boy, and that he had human mannerisms, they tried to civilize him. So they brought him into a
Wow.
house, they cleaned him up, they tried to teach him how to use like utensils and how to eat at a table, how to brush his hair, and telling him not to like fart and burp in front of other people, et cetera, et cetera.
Uh-huh.
And they even allowed him to go to prom. It's funny, you see like a picture of him on a prom date. He's like
Is
in a
he like,
tux with
oh,
like a
Harry?
Bigfoot face, essentially. He had like fangs, but his hair is like nicely combed. But after years of attempting to tame this monster, he eventually snapped again,
Hmm.
hearing the call of the wild,
The
howling at
swamps.
the night, busted, yes, of the swamps. He busted out of this house that he was living in, that he was being, I guess, civilized in, and he
Mhm.
ran free back into the wild, only to one day become, drumroll, a gym teacher.
Wow. So, I mean, again, why the teacher was unfazed by a demon and
Literally,
her coworkers is
yeah.
a swamp monster.
It is a swamp monster, so used to it. They're used to it.
Yeah.
And it's
Same old,
funny
same old.
because the gym teacher like yells at them as Mo is finishing this story, like, hurry it up, ladies, keep it moving. And Mimi and Hitch just kind of look at him like, nah, right. But then the gym teacher, it is a children's show after all. The gym teacher like farts or whatever,
And
and
they're
Hitch is
like,
like, "Oh my God, it smells like swamp gas." And then they're like,
swamp gas.
"Maybe." And then Mo just kind of does his eyebrow thing, and then they all, yeah, go
Nice. All right.
back to
Love
class.
it.
So yes, that was our bonus little one bonus little story. The last
Uh-huh.
bonus story. It's so you mentioned it in your first episode how at the end of all of the episodes, Mo
Oh,
does like a
yes.
breaking the well, he breaks the fourth wall a lot, but
Constantly. Yeah.
he
His
does
little
like a
fun
history
fact.
lesson or yeah, a
Yeah.
little fun fact. In this case, he tells like an urban legend slash joke of sorts. And it's like, okay, we'll fucking throw that in there too. Why not? We've got time. So this one he calls the Throne of No Return. A group of friends are hanging out. They're playing cards or poker or something at one of their apartments. And one of the guys excuses himself. He says, he gets up from the table and he says, gotta hit the can. I'll be right back. And so, yes, we mean that kind of throne, by the way,
Yeah.
not the royal
I now
queen,
realize
queen
that.
sort of throne. Exactly. An hour later, another guy sitting at the table excuses himself in the same way, saying, hey, got to hit the can. I'll be right back.
No, they're not concerned about their friend who
Another,
hasn't come back.
another 30 minutes go
Okay.
by, and the one guy left says, hey, I thought they said they'd be right back. What's the big idea? So he
Yeah.
gets up, he goes into the bathroom, and all he sees is one of the men being pulled, sucked even down into the toilet like it is a whirlpool.
Oh
And
God.
only his like left hand or something remains
It's
above the
out.
toilet seat. He's like, help,
Help
like help me, as his hand is just
me!
slowly being sucked down the toilet. And so the dude who is witnessing this, he's like freaking out and he's like, oh my God, nobody is going to believe this story about a demon toilet. So this man who happens to live in apartment 13B, he
Classic.
cleans his tracks and he leaves town that very night. He doesn't report this. He's like, they're not gonna believe me if I say my friend got sucked down a toilet. They're gonna think I'm the dude from the Telltale Heart, that I dismembered this guy, these two people, and they're under my
Shoved them
floorboards.
down the toilet, which
Yeah.
would not be the first serial killer who did that.
No, I don't think, yeah, you're probably right. So on his way out of the building, this guy who lived in apartment 13B, he's got all of his stuff. He just has one last thing to do. He removes a notice that he put up on like the community bulletin board earlier in the week. And that notice is for unfortunately, his lost pet.
Oh.
Do you want to guess what kind of pet this is, Grace, that he's lost?
Is it an alligator who lives in the sewer?
No, but it's pretty close to that. It's another reptile who is sometimes known to live in a sewer. That's not a turtle. I will give that away.
Basilisk?
Pretty much. It's a boa. Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Wow, absolutely
basically.
not. Crawling up your toilet. Didn't that happen in a horror film?
In a toilet? That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, go on.
There's Slither, where it was like giant worms.
Oh, that's maybe what
snake, maybe. Now there is the
of.
movie Anaconda, which it wasn't in a toilet. It was in. Yeah, I love that movie. That's another one though, where like, absolutely, but that's another one where, like the Wild Wild West, in hindsight,
horrible.
But no, I won't die on that.
All right, go on.
Honestly, I'll say that's like one of her only good roles. But anyway, okay, so later that night, the snake, yes, emerges from the toilet in apartment 13B, bloated and stuffed full of two grown men. Yeah. And that's the end of the story. We then hear Milo say, "Gotta hit the can. How would you like those to be your last words?" The end.
Wow, also like a heartbreaking tale, because in the end,
yeah,
the snake came back to find his owner, and he was just gone.
And he was gone. Yeah. And things are alive in snakes for a little while. Well, at least these things were alive. I guess sometimes the snake will like suffocate it and like break its bones to kill it, to make it easier to like whatever. But these things were too big to do that. Or these humans, these grown men were too big for the snake to do that. They were still kind of like muffling and moving in there. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of like not a catch-22, but it's a tough decision to make, wherein like, yeah, your snake came back, but also if you cut open your snake, you could probably save your very traumatized friends at the same time. So like you could have gotten your snake back and then said, "Oh, he ate my friends. Oh, well, at least I have my snake." Or you could have found the snake and been like, "Oh my God, I have to kill you now and get my friends back at least." And now my friends are still alive.
A perfect way to dispose of the bodies. And now this person's a serial killer. Just they get another one and
break down. Yeah.
Yeah. This could have been a win-win-win on three totally separate paths.
Yeah. But
and yet,
oh well, now there's
a coward.
Coward.
Fucking coward.
You won't even face allegations that you maybe killed two of your best friends. Wow. Jeez.
God. Yeah, be on the run.
Yeah, exactly. You don't deserve to even face these allegations. Get out of town.
Get out of here.
Don't come back. Don't come back. We don't want you. So yes.
Wow, incredible.
A special three for today's episode.
Amazing. Great job.
Yeah, I love this show. My first episode down, and I'm super excited to do some more. Hopefully there are some more where I can tell random urban legends like that, because
yes.
Mo is great. He's got all the stories. He's got all the good stories.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I like the that the writers brought in also like classic horror of Edgar Allan Poe. So that was
exactly the original,
very special. Yeah. Wow, great job.
Thank you. So, that is it for today's episode. And I'm sure that next week will be as terrifying and horrifying, perhaps, as today's. With this show, it looks like it. So until then, Grace, who should they tell about this podcast?
I think you should tell a plumber, because we were just talking about toilets.
Nice.
You should tell a plumber about this show. They probably want to listen to something while they're working. I do want to tell a total side story. I was like, should I tell this? Should I not tell this? About I can't remember which serial killer, so people let me know in the comments because I don't want to pause and Google it. But once a case was indeed cracked by a plumber because a serial killer who had been burying people in like their house or yard or something like that had to move to an apartment building, started running out of space, started dismembering, and what? Flushing it down the toilet. And then the apartment complex was like, why is our plumbing backed up? They called the plumbers. A plumber was like, this looks like KFC chicken. This is weird. Called their supervisor and they were like, this is not KFC chicken.
Not KFC.
This is fucking body parts. And then they solved the case. So
it might be Kentucky Fried, but it sure ain't chicken. Was this in Kentucky? No, probably not.
God, I wish. I don't think so, though. But anyways, plumbers are heroes. So
yes, they are.
Tell a plumber.
Agreed. Wow. Yes. Yeah, man, the shit literally and figuratively that they have to see go through. After that, you should tell a gym teacher.
Nice.
And ask if in a past life they used to be some sort of swamp monster or forest creature. Yeah.
Just in
case.
Because
that would lead them to like the wild life and mental state of becoming a gym teacher. Yeah.
Exactly. Wow. Wonderful. Perfect. Cool. Great.
Excellent. Until next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Saturday Morning Mysteries.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share, rate, review, leave us a like, and drop a comment. We post episodes every Saturday and bonus tune tangents whenever we feel like it. So please subscribe so you don't miss the shenanigans.
And if you want to follow us on YouTube, click the bell under the YouTube subscribe button to receive notifications when new videos are posted.
And if you want to subscribe to the podcast, we have no idea what you're listening to us on, so just hit the big subscribe button on whatever app you're using. We believe in you.
Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at SatmornMist, all the abreves, and let us know if you have any episode or show requests by emailing SaturdayMorningMysteries@gmail.com.
Thanks to Jenna Kendall for the logo design and to Ava Sakiki for the music used during this week's episode.
See y'all groovy kids next week on Saturday Morning Mysteries.